Hi, this is Jim at your Jiffy Customer Support Network. In this segment, we're going to cover the proper procedure for changing out the carburetor on the Jiffy Model 4G Lite engine. The first thing that we're going to want to do is remove the throttle lever from the control handle. Get it out using a Phillips screwdriver. Just going to go ahead and back that screw out until the handle comes loose. Set that to the side. We're then going to want to take off the air cleaner cover, remove the air filter element. Then we're going to want to go ahead and remove the backplate, air cleaner backplate retention nuts. Go ahead and remove the backplate retention clamp. Slide the air cleaner backplate off. And we'll just go ahead and slide the carburetor off the mounting studs. We'll then want to go ahead and remove the fuel lines, taking note that there's a clear line and a black line. They're in a horizontal position going into the fuel tank, and you'll note that the carburetor, the fittings, one is on the outward side of the carb and the other's on the inward side of the carburetor. The outer line goes, of course, on the outer fitting, and the inner line goes on the inner fitting. So you want to take note of that. The next thing we'll want to do is remove the throttle cable from the carburetor. First of all, we'll take the throttle cable wire, remove it from the pivot post on the throttle. And we'll want to remove the cable from the carburetor itself. Now that we've got the new carburetor, the first thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and remount the throttle cable to the bracket on the side of the carburetor. And we'll screw that on. And what we'll want to do is we want to get at least 2 threads of the throttle cable coming out the top of the bracket on the side of the carburetor. And we'll go ahead and tighten the jam nut. And we'll want to go ahead and reattach the cable to the pivot post on the carburetor. And one thing you're going to want to note is, looking at that silver colored pivot post, there's going to be a wider opening on one side of that slot. And the ball on the end of the cable, the throttle cable wire, has to fit down in that wider slot. So you want to make sure you get that in the right position. And we'll make sure that that functions properly, which it does. I'm going to go ahead and reroute the throttle lever back under the handle. We want to make sure that the gasket between the cylinder and the carburetor is in place. I'm going to go ahead and slide the carburetor back on the mounting studs. There we go. And we'll want to go ahead and remount the air cleaner back plate. Reposition the backplate clamp in position. And we'll go ahead and put the retention nuts back on that hold the air cleaner backplate on. Make sure the choke operates right. And we want to slide the fuel lines back on the carburetor based on the procedure we talked about before. We'll go ahead and replace the air filter element. And the air cleaner cover. And we'll want to go ahead and remount the throttle lever back on the control handle using a Phillips screwdriver to remount that. Screw that in and we'll tighten it up nice and snug. And once again we'll want to make sure that the throttle lever operates with the throttle on the side of the carburetor properly to make sure everything functions properly. That basically concludes the proper procedure for changing out the carburetor on the Jiffy Model 4G Lite engine. If anyone has any questions regarding this procedure, please feel free to call us at 1-800-344-0712. I'd like to take this time to thank you for your continued support of Jiffy products and also the purchase of your Jiffy ice drill. Thanks and have a great day.